Minutes to 9. Well, it's been just over a year since Lara Bingle lost her dad to bowel cancer. Now, Lara wants to warn others about the disease, and she's become the new face of a public campaign.
He lived with it for 2 years without even knowing. I wish he was still here.
Well, bowel cancer is Australia's second biggest cancer killer. 80 Aussies will die from it just this week. Well, Lara joins us now, along with Dr. Cameron Bell from Bowel Cancer Australia. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Lara, to you first, tell us how did your dad first discover that he had bowel cancer?
Well, he was the type of man that never went to the doctors. So my mum was always nagging, come on, Graham, go to the doctors. So he had a little cough and it got worse, and then eventually went to the doctors and discovered he had bowel cancer.
Wow. Cameron, from a cough, but you wouldn't expect a cough to be an indication of bowel cancer. But tell us, what are the chances of us getting bowel cancer?
Unfortunately, very high, David. 1 in 20 Australians by the age of 70 and 1 in 12 by age 80.
No.
So it's the commonest cancer that affects men and women in Australia, and unfortunately, about 30% of people who get it will die from it.
Wow. Is that because it's hard to treat, or because we just leave it too long?
It's because we leave it too long. It's hard to treat if it's left too long. In the early stages, it's often curable with surgery.
Right.
But there are lots of preventative things that can be done even before that stage, David.
And given that a lot of the cancers that we hear a lot about, bowel cancer is probably not one we do. Did you know anything about it, Lara, before?
No, well, not until my dad was diagnosed. I had, no knowledge of it up until my dad got diagnosed. But now, yeah, it's the second biggest cancer killer in Australia.
It is incredible. As you say, it's not top of mind. Look, we have a list of some of the top preventable risk factors here. They include things we often hear we should avoid, like smoking, too much alcohol, lack of exercise. Cameron, how much of a difference does it make to really moderate these areas?
David, it's thought that 70% of bowel cancer is attributable to lifestyle factors. So if people could modify these things, they would reduce their risk by 70%. Which is enormous, because every year more than 4,000 Australians die of bowel cancer. And at Bowel Cancer Australia, we think that's a tragedy because most of those deaths are preventable.
Okay.
Lara, you've got a tattoo, I know.
Yeah, I do.
Reminds you of your dad. I guess, what would you say to anybody that's contemplating having a checkup?
I guess don't be embarrassed. I think there's a lot of people out there that just push it aside, or it's kind of bowels and bottoms are a bit embarrassing to talk about. So I just think go and get yourself checked, and maybe you'll discover it early and it can be treatable.
Yeah. Because, Cameron, it is a bit icky, but basically it's pretty simple. You just scrape a bit of poo, you stick it in an envelope and send it off.
It's very simple, but more than 50% of Australians, even the ones who get the kits from the government, just put them in the bin. And that's a tragedy.
Okay. So we've got the opportunity to detect it. It's up to us to do it. And Lara and Cameron are reminding us to do it. It's a great message. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Stay with us. We're back with more of Sunrise after this.